Hello everyone, welcome to Vichar. My name is Padmashri and today we're going to talk about life in the UK versus the UAE. I've had the luck and privilege to live in multiple parts of our world for an extended period of time. I lived in the UAE for 3 years as a flight attendant for Etihad Airways, and most recently I worked with Revolut in London, UK. So I have a good vantage point on both of these countries and I shall compare them on 5 different criteria. Number 1 is the place itself. Number 2 is people, the culture. Number 3, jobs and education. Number 4, the social life in both of these countries. And number 5, personal growth. So number 1, the place, I will say UK is a much better looking place, even though UAE has these fantastic deserts and some very, very beautiful and picturesque places to see. It is also far remote in the sense that if you want to go and visit the sand dunes, you'll have to hire a adventure company, some kind of a tour to the sand dunes, or have your own car, right? So to be able to enjoy the natural beauty, there is a little bit more work required than you would need to do in the UK. In the UK, the architecture is very, very special. This is not something you find in the UAE. The UAE is, same kinds of buildings over and over again. There are very few buildings that will have you stop in your tracks and, appreciate them. Whereas in the UK, the most simplest of buildings are very old and therefore have a lot of character, right? So in terms of landscapes as well as the architecture, I will say UK is a much better place, and you don't really need to hire a company services to go and see the natural beauty in the UK. You can drive yourself or take the train, buses, so on and so forth. There are various different options that you can use to be able to explore the natural beauty of the country. So the second point, people. Now, because both the countries are metropolitan in nature and are open to various different cultures, you find people of almost all cultures in both of these countries. I'd say they rank equally. Your experience of the people will be similar. Both are also fast-paced in nature. So yes, you will not have people, greeting you on the roads or stopping to talk to you, to learn more about you. This happens in smaller countries that are not as fast in their culture as both of these. So the experience of people will be similar. There can be some differences basis the concentration of certain communities in certain parts, but this you will find in both the countries. So I feel when it comes to people, both the countries offer you a similar experience. Number 3 is jobs and education. Obviously, it is too easy to gauge which will do better. It is the UK. It is one of the oldest countries in the world. It has heritage of fantastic educational institutes, and it's also a very opportunity-rich country. So both for jobs and education, UK will give you a much better experience than the UAE. However, in the last few years, I have learned that the UAE also is able to compete on these 2 points. There are various international organizations, educational organizations that have based themselves in the UAE, and the job opportunities now are more varied in nature, in the sense that apart from hospitality and oil, there are other types of jobs that are now available, and the startup scene is also growing in the UAE. So I feel that UAE is catching up, but UK definitely at this present moment is ahead in the game. 4th is social life. Now, because there are certain kinds of restrictions in the UAE on the things that you can wear and you cannot, the types of words you can use in public spaces, the types of conversations you can have in public spaces. There is a restriction on expressing your political thoughts, your religious thoughts out in the open. So these are the things that, in my own humble opinion, kind of reduce the quality of your social life in the UAE, whereas in the UK, even though it is just the same number of people that you will be interacting with, the same number of cultures that you will have exposure to, you can have much deeper conversations, and there is no rule that you need to follow. You can explore each other in a more free way. So I feel that the social life, though is vibrant and active in both the countries, in the UK, you can deepen your experience versus in the UAE because of those rules and regulations. Now, lastly, personal growth. So I feel because the UAE is a little bit of a controlled society, there are aspects of yourself that you may not be able to easily explore in the UAE. Whereas in the UK, it is a much broad-minded kind of a society. They are much more open to exploring different parts of the self, whether it is philosophical, religious, physical, emotional, so on and so forth. In the UK, especially now, the conversations have become very open. People are willing to explore themselves in a much deeper way. And I feel that especially for people who like to grow alongside others with a community, UK can be a better choice, because not only will you be able to find support from others who are also on a similar journey, but you may also be able to access institutions or people who can guide you on this path, right? So these are the criteria wherein I feel both the countries can be compared depending on our own preferences and our own goals. I hope you have found this useful. If so, please let me know in the comments below. If there are any other points you would like me to compare these countries on, any kind of vantage point that I can provide to you, please let me know. So, thank you for listening, and I shall see you on the next one.